A little outtake there for you. Once everybody gets on, please let me know if you can hear and see me okay. Keith says, hey Chris. Hey Keith. While we're waiting, I will go ahead and piss off some people. And then we will get started with the usual shenanigans, hijinks, tomfoolery, other things that mean the same thing. Kazi says, hey Chris. Somebody on Facebook says, hey Chris. Lahiro says, good morning, afternoon, and good evening. Amit says, hello. Dev says, yo, yo, yo. That one I can. So, One second here. Facebook user says, how are you? I'm good, how are you? Raju says, I'm an SEO expert, that's good to know. Liam says, hi. Facebook user says, hi. Abbas, what's up Abbas? Says, hi Chris, excited to be here. Ivana says, hello. Hello Ivana. Fuck's sake. MD says, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. Give me 1 second here, folks. Just getting a few things set up that didn't go according to plan. Batman has flown somewhere. He is right there. Don't worry, I would never do that to you or to Batman. Lenari says, looking sharp as always, trying to look as good as you. Chris says, hey buddy, how's your day? Doing good. One of a kind says hello. Joseph says, hi Chris. John says, how is birthday season? It was good. Hopefully it was for you as well, the day after mine. So I am older, just, you know. Fatine says hello. Somebody says hi. Saban, what's up Saban? Let's uncover. How you doing? I'm doing good. Fatine says, please shout out my name. Well, there you go, Fatine. Somebody says hello, somebody says hello, somebody says hi. All right, so give me a sec here to piss off people in the Superstar SEO group. And then we will get started. We're going to give away some merch, and then we're going to get into it. Got a lot to cover today. Need to do one more. Kathy says hi. I'm good. All right, that should be all the notification that I need to do. Bro, how are you? I am IBM SEO. I'm doing good, thank you. Fatine says, I'm a digital marketer and SEO expert. Thank you. I don't know why everybody keeps giving me their resume, but thank you. Over on LinkedIn, of all places, Kathy says hi, which is inconsistent with what I saw, but I have 4 or 5-star reviews on Legit. Well, thank you for taking good care of our customers. All right, good turnout so far today. Let us go ahead and start with the fun stuff first. So, by the way, we have debuting next week. We'll get into all that. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Window. Share that window. This is the let's see, we got IBM SEO says I love Legit, and we love you back. So thank you for that. Julius from Kenya says hi, Chris. Arslan says hi. Tours and Travel says hi, Faisal here. Hey, Faisal. Anyhow, we are here at the Legit merch store, and I suggest you, Fatine, please don't start asking me how to get sales on Legit. We're not going to be talking about that today. MD says I love your work style. Thank you, MD. You do great work too. Danny says hey all. What's up, Danny? I wonder if Danny Unknown is someone I know in person. Anyway, what do you mean the coolest Legit shirt men can't wear? If you mean the Friends one, I have one of those. I wore it like 2 days ago. And anyway, what we're going to do in a minute here is I'm going to ask you to type something, and then I'm going to pick the software is actually going to pick a winner, and we will give you some Legit merch of your choice. Just a fun way to share in your support and to, well, frankly, get more people to watch my stream. So let's go ahead. No, it's not. Okay. There's somebody that would have a similar name to you, so I don't know. Legit Pizzeria, I want pizza now. I always want pizza. All right, so before we get into that, if you are showing up as Facebook user and you want to be able to participate in the contest, you're going to need to authorize Facebook. So what you need to do is go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. And I'm going to type that in the chat, not Facebook, Facebook. And just go to that URL, and if you want to participate in the contest, your name will be able to show up on screen, and the software will be able to find you that way. Kumar says, "Hey Chris, how you doing?" I'm doing good, thank you. So let's go ahead and get into that. So it's StreamYard.com/giveaway, and it's that one. And today's word is going to be offer. So just go ahead and type offer, and we'll let that go till 1:13. That's about 5 minutes. And then we will let the software pick a winner. So type offer in the comments or in the chat, wherever you're watching, and enter to win. If you don't do it soon, I'm going to start doing it and enter to win my own contest. One important thing about Legit merchandise, you are not allowed to look better than me in it. So keep that in mind. Danny Unknown, if you win, then you'll have to become known. And that kind of ruins your whole gimmick. All right, let me mute for a second. Danny says, oh boy. All right, lots of folks saying offer. And you can enter it as many times as you want because, again, it helps people find you. It helps people find us, and it's only going to count it once. So let's go ahead and show some Instagram. And by the way, I'm finding if I record directly in the Instagram app, I actually get more people showing up than if I do it through a video and then upload the video, which I guess makes sense, but it's kind of stupid too. So lots of folks on. We are live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So you should come join us unless you suck, in which case you should not, because we don't like people that suck. But anyhow, chrismwalker.tv or Chris M. Walker on Facebook and LinkedIn. Come hang out. Maybe win some stuff. There may also be pizza, but history tells us that there likely will not be. Although there have been pizza on occasion. get that
makes sense, but
over on Instagram. All right, we got about 3 minutes left, so let the guesses keep not the guesses the offers keep coming in. You don't have to type hashtag. I guess I should try that sometime though. Legit branded pizza flavored coffee. That sounds disgusting, and kind of great. I mean, before there were Reese's cups, I bet there was somebody that's like peanut butter and chocolate together. That sounds disgusting. And clearly they hit that out of the park, so you never know. Alrighty, let me see. We got about 2 minutes left. Somebody says Monday. I don't understand that. I mean, I'm familiar with it as a day of the week. It's my favorite day of the week, usually. Alrighty, Roo. I can't believe I just said that. Got about 23 people trying to win some fresh, legit merch. And by the way, this stream will be the last one where you can win any of the merch pictured here, because we're going to have an entirely new experience for you next week. So if you want any of this legit merch, you should get it now. Because we will be launching an entirely new merch experience and an entirely new version of Legit next week. So I'll probably be back on Monday, God willing, to see you again. All right, we got about less than a minute left. This is the part of the live stream where I complain that I can't see the seconds on the Windows 11 clock because reasons, apparently. So Julie is really trying to get that offer, or that offer, get that merch today. All right, we got about 25 people, just a few seconds left. When I say stop, you can stop typing offer because it won't matter anymore. But yeah, so Kathy's voted in 3 different places. Cheater. Just increasing her odds. Offer. All right, and that is time. Go ahead and stop saying offer because it won't count anymore. And let's pick a winner. Hey, it's our ambassador, Ahmad. Congratulations, Ahmad. You just need to go over to the merch store, pick out what you want, and then pick out if it's something that has a size. You're going to message our customer support with what you want, that you won, and what size you need, and then your snail mail address, and they will ship it on out to you. So congratulations, Ahmad, on your victory. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment so I can screenshot that over to support, just so they know who won, and then we will get into it. All right, now let me bring up my presentation. F5. Swap. No. Swap. Minimize. Present. Share screen. Window. Share. All right, can everybody see that? Somebody please let me know. Anybody? All right. Yes, Chris says yes. Thank you, Chris. Hey, there's a pencil. Anyway, I'm going to have to test later what that actually does. Today we're going to be, last week we talked about figuring out what problem you solve. Chris, when do you go live? I just got the notification right when you went. Most weeks it's on Friday at 3 or 4. This week I had a busy schedule, so I had to slot it in. But I try to let people know a little bit in advance. But Normally it's on Friday. This week it's on Wednesday because just the way the schedule fell. So next week it'll probably be on Monday, God willing. So anyway, moving right along. Last week we talked about figuring out what problem you solve. And this week we're going to take that problem and turn it into an offer. And it's an offer that sells and an offer that you can't refuse. Hence the Godfather reference there. So hopefully somebody got that. I try to be a little bit clever. Let me move a couple things here so you'll get a little bit better sound. All right, that's as good as it's going to get. Let's continue. So, what are we going to be talking about? Here is the rundown. We're going to talk about what is an offer, because I don't like to assume when I use jargon or slang or anything like that, insider terms, that people know what I'm talking about. So before we can talk about how to turn a problem into an offer, we need to know what an offer is. Then we are going to talk about the anatomy of an offer, the things that it must have in order for it to become an offer that you can present to people. And then we are going to talk about turning that anatomy into an actual offer for people. And there will be an example, but you can also put the issue that you solve in the chat later on, and we'll try to turn yours into an offer as well. So let's continue. And if you have questions at any point, just drop them in the chat and I will get to them as soon as I can. So moving right along, what is an offer? An offer is the result you sell to someone that solves a problem that they have in exchange for money or some other consideration. Usually it's going to be money. Now, what a lot of people think an offer is the service that they offer, because of the term and because of how sloppy the English language can be at times. But that's not what it is. You saying something like, I do Facebook ads, I do graphic design, I do SEO to rank your website in Google. Those are the kind of things that if I asked most of you what you offer, what you would tell me. But that is not what an offer is. Those are services that you offer. And that's the thing that drives, this is a bit of a tangent, but that's the thing that drives me crazy in the English language, is that when we use certain words the same as we use other words that mean something slightly different, it confuses things. For example, having insomnia doesn't mean that you occasionally have a night where you can't sleep. Insomnia is a chronic medical condition where you can never sleep no matter how tired you get. IBM SEO, please stop saying your name. Then another example is depression. When your grandpa dies or your girlfriend breaks up with you or something like that, you get depressed. When you are depressed for no reason to the point that you can't function, that's depression. So it's very important to understand what words mean and use them correctly to have an advantage over everybody else who doesn't. And offer is another example of those, because technically it's true that I do Facebook ads is what you offer, but it's not what your offer is. And that will make more sense as we continue on throughout this session. So what is an offer and what does it look like? So before I move on, any questions on that? Everybody clear on what an offer is and what an offer is not? I'll give you a second or two to respond, and then we're going to move on because we have a lot to cover today. And I have other meetings today because it's one of those weeks. And I'm going to give it another few seconds, but let me know if you need any clarification on that. Facebook user says, yep. I assume that means that you got it. So I am going to continue on from here. Now, let's talk about the anatomy of an offer. Guys, come on, stop with the needy stuff. We're not talking about how to get orders on Legit today. That's not going to be the topic at all. So just go watch some of the other content that we have for that. I'm not going to be answering those questions, and I'm not going to be acknowledging them excuse me, again after this. Somebody says, this is great, glad to see the difference of an offer and a service. Thank you. So the anatomy of an offer, let's talk about that. And these are kind of the pieces, and then we're going to go into each one of these individually. The anatomy of an offer is who it helps or who does it help, meaning what person, group, or type of business does it help. What does the prospect need help with? So not only who are they, but what problem do they have that they need help with? We talked about that a little last week, but It's important here as well. Why do they need help with that? That's just as important as what they need help with as why do they need help with it, because, well, it just is. I don't want to give away too much until we get to that section. Why can you help them? I should have capitalized you, but why can you specifically help them out of all the different people that could possibly help them with their problem, or the people that can't for that matter? How can you help them? So not only can you help them, but through what vehicle will you get to help them? And then after you help them, what improvement in their life can they expect to see? That's kind of the anatomy of an offer. We're going to go into each one of those individually now. So if you have any questions, drop them and I'll get to them later. Who does it help? And by the way, I'm going to talk really fast today because we have a lot to get through, and that's just how I talk. And if it's you need to watch it later and slow it down, I understand, but that's how I talk. That's how I best convey information. So I'm sorry if that's too hard for some people, and I don't say that badly. I've gotten that complaint before. That's why I bring it up. So who does it help? Before you can offer something to someone, you don't want to offer it to someone that it doesn't help. So if somebody is a vegan, you don't want to offer them a cheeseburger recipe because it's not going to help them. It's not a great example, but I think you get the point. You have to know who you're going to help with what you offer before you can even construct the offer. So some things that you can consider with who does it help is it can be a niche, an industry, or a vertical. This can be very broad or very niche, and I believe we're going to look at an example on the next slide of these different examples. That can be a specific industry, roofers, plumbers, whatever. It can be a person as well, somebody of a specific gender, age, income, social status, marital status, any other demographic that you can think of. But you need to identify specifically who you're helping and what type of business you're helping, if it's a business, and in most of these cases it's going to be, and then what type of person can or is helping, so you can better formulate the offer and be specific even before you know who you're talking to. So some examples are narrow examples, and when I say narrow, I mean niche or industry or vertical specific. I don't mean narrow as in they are limited, because obviously there's a lot of most of these niches, but narrow would be something like contractors, people that repair houses and things like that. Dentists, did I spell dentist right? Dentists, yeah, I guess so. Doesn't look right for some reason. Dentist is an example. Cheese shops is an example. Plumbers is an example of narrow niches that you can focus on, that you can find problems for and solve them for. A little bit broader is business owners or homeowners, and there's others, but those give you examples. I include that because for legit, my main business, the person that we help is business owners, and it doesn't really matter what niche that they're in, more or less. So that's why I include that. And then if you want to go to the individual level, you can talk about single men over 40 that make over $1 million a year and want to retire by the time they're 50. That's not a great example because there's not a lot of problems you can solve for someone like that, but I was afraid if I used a hypothetical example, I'd end up offending someone, so I just used myself instead. But you get the idea, right? It's either a narrow niche, industry, vertical, whatever you want to call it. It's a broader thing like business owners or homeowners or men or women, or it's a specific type of person like a single man over 40 that makes over $1 million a year, wants to retire by the time they're 50. Those are all examples of how you can define who you help. So hopefully that makes sense. If there's any questions on that, drop them and I'll get back to them, or I'll get to them in just a little bit. But for now, we're going to move on. What do they need help with? Now that we know who we're helping, we need to figure out what they need help with. Because this is something that you have to get right. It's something that people will assume that they know the answer to, but are usually wrong because they're too lazy or not knowledgeable enough to really dig into what people want help with. So let's continue, or need help with, I should say, because what they think they want help with is not always what they actually need help with, but that's beyond the scope of this presentation. So, what do they need help with? This is where, like I said, a lot of agencies will just lazily say something like, they need to get more sales and more leads and more phone calls. That's everybody. Either that, they either do or they don't. That's not an offer, something that you can build an offer around, because it's too basic, it's too generic, and it's just not good enough. They need specifics. So you need to figure out specifically what they need help with in their business to take them out of the state that's got them talking to you in the first place to the state that they want to get to, that you are going to be the person that drives the vehicle that gets them there. So, yeah. We probably won't get into pricing today, but we'll cover that soon. So let's get into some examples on that as well. Plumbers want specific types of jobs more so than random calls. And this is, and you'll have to do research on this based on the person or business that you decide to help, but this is an actual example of somebody I know. Plumbers want specific type of jobs more so than random calls. Like if you rank them in Google Maps, they're going to get a bunch of emergency calls when somebody's faucet is leaking or their toilet is overrunning and that sort of stuff. And they take those, but they're really not worth a lot to them. But what they want is a job installing a new shower or a bathroom sink or something like that that's more rewarding, well, financially, and then just from a gratification point of view. They want more of those. So they don't just want calls, they want calls for specific types of jobs. So instead of more jobs, it's get more jobs installing showers in commercial and residential locations. You see how that's more specific, and it's more, it shows that you've listened to what they really want to do more than anything. So I can relate to this. Like I want to take on more consulting work, but I only want to work with people that are at a certain level, and there's nothing wrong with anybody at any level, but I only have a limited amount of time, and I also want to do things that are challenging to me and where I can really make a difference for somebody that's kind of on a similar level. So that's something I can relate to, but it's something you need to really dig in to understand what the person that you've decided to target really needs. And this, I think, is one of the best examples I've ever seen, is that plumbers, when they get ranked in Google Maps, they get a lot of calls in general, but the calls they get the most of are stuff that's broken right then, that needs fixed right then, that's just not that profitable for them, and it's also not that gratifying for them, and they want more of this type of thing. So you can see how this can not only craft your offer, but it can also craft what you do for them later. If you're an SEO, that means that you're going to change the terms that you go to rank for. Instead of, broken pipe repair in city, you might do shower installation in city, something like that. So if there's any questions on that, let me know. Otherwise, we will continue on to why do they need help with that. So you now know who they are and what they need help with, but if you really want to craft an offer that is valuable to them and lucrative to you, you still need to know why they need help with that, because they might be able to do that themselves with just a little piece of information. So yeah, I don't know how companies can guarantee those types of jobs. Can you clarify that for me? Because when they rank on maps, they will get those ranked. Yeah, of course. That if you're doing this, if you're talking about SEO, that's where your keyword targeting really comes in. Now you can't stop, you know what I mean? You can't stop the other types of calls coming in, and most of them will take those. But what they really want is more of those other types. Like they're happy to, I should say happy. They're willing to go, fix somebody's toilet that's overrunning or snake their drain. I don't know plumbing well enough to give a lot of examples, but something like that. But what they really want is more of those shower installation jobs. So that, you get what I'm saying? Like it would be the keywords that you go to end up ranking for. So you would rank for shower installation or something, where most generic SEO agencies are going to just go and do broken pipe or plumber in city or clogged toilet in location, where you now have listened to the customer and the prospect and found out that they want more shower installations. So you're going to go rank for shower installation service or something. I would have to do the research, but I think you get the idea. Yeah, it's not just that they're higher tickets, although that is part of it too. But I've talked to some of them, but not in this industry because I've only ever worked with one plumber. But I've talked to businesses where they just enjoy certain types of things more and just want to do those more. So it is about them being like higher ticket and more profitable, but it's also just about what they really want to be doing. Because I don't necessarily agree, but I get it, the idea of wanting to get into business to do a certain thing. So anyhow, why do they need help with that? Because like I said, if you know who they are and know what they need help with, you still might want to understand why they need help with it, so you can better craft not only an offer that will resonate with them and will help them, but will help you fulfill better because you understand why they need it. So this is probably, frankly, the easiest one to answer out of the different parts of the anatomy of an offer. It's usually one of the following. They don't know how to do it, so they know that they need somebody to do Facebook ads, PPC, blogging, SEO, whatever, but they just don't know how to do it themselves. They don't have the money to do it themselves. This one, it gets a little dangerous because then they get into I can't afford you to. But you can explain that away if you do proper sales, and we'll talk about sales in a future presentation. But they don't have the money to do it is a common one. Why they need help with it. They don't have the time to do it. Business owners are very busy people, and they don't necessarily have the time to be doing the work and the books and all the other stuff that comes with running a business, as well as doing the thing that your agency offers. And maybe they do have the time, money, and knowledge, although that would be unlikely that they would also be successful if that were the case. They just don't want to do it. Maybe they hate, fooling around in Business Manager or in whatever they call AdWords now, or maybe they don't like building links and optimizing H1 tags, or whatever it is. Maybe they just don't want to do it. Maybe they hate it and they're in a position where they can get somebody who's good at it to do it for them. So they get you to do it. So there are probably some others, but those are kind of the main ones on why why do they need help with the thing that they need help with. So if there's not any questions on that, I'm going to grab a sip of Prime, and then we're going to move on to the next one. All right, moving right along. Why can you, and again, I regret not capitalizing you because I want it to be, why can you help them, Celsius gang? I just started, I grabbed one of these because the packaging, you can't see it, but I grabbed one of these because the packaging caught my eye, and it's actually quite tasty, and it's only got 20 calories, so. Anyhow, why can you help them? So again, this isn't why can they be helped, it's why can you specifically help them. So it's important to explain, let me put it this way. We all know that there is a million, billion, jillion different agencies out there because we just know that. I bet you can, those of you that just hang around at SEO Facebook groups, marketing Facebook groups, and so on, can name 50 agency owners off the top of your head. So there's probably tens of thousands out there. So you have to find a way to differentiate yourself and stand out, because why should they go with you instead of someone else? Why can you help them solve their unique problem better than anybody else? And because I get results is not good enough, because there are a lot of people that can get results, and there's a lot more that can claim that they get results whether they can or not. So that's simply not a good enough reason to tell someone why you are the person that they should be working with. So you have to come up with a better reason on why you can help them. So maybe it's you have a background in the industry of your prospect. Maybe you came from another industry and based your agency around that niche that you came from because you understand their pain points, you understand the terminology that they use, you understand the way their business works, you understand the profit margins, whatever it is. Maybe you are uniquely qualified to help in that particular vertical niche or industry. Maybe that's one reason. Maybe you share some demographic with them. Maybe your offer is a little different and you offer coaching or consulting, and maybe you offer it to married men with 2 children who want to run a business and also be there for their family. Maybe that's the position that you're in, and you want to offer that to other people, and because you have those demographics in common with that prospect and that person with that problem, you now know how to relate to them better, and therefore, because you can relate to them better, you're able to solve it better than somebody who is just Facebook ad agency number 1 million. Perhaps only a few people possess the skills that you do. That's very unlikely, because most things that an agency can offer, another agency can offer. But if you have something that's truly unique that you can do, that only you or very few other people can do, that's another way you can position that you can help them. odds are, and I don't mean this is any disrespect to anybody, but if you're watching this, that's probably not you. But I wanted to mention it just in case, because maybe you do have a unique set of what's that movie Taken? I have a unique set of skills. You know, maybe that's you. I wish I'd included that GIF on this page, but anyhow, that's you. And just to be clear, this isn't a chance for you to tell them who you are and what your resume is and what your background is or anything like that. It's a unique characteristic that you have that makes you more qualified than anybody else that could possibly do this particular thing for them. And so they have to hire you if they want that problem solved. And they have to hire you specifically because you, out of all the people in the world that can solve this, you are the only one that can do it the right way. When I used to work with politicians, that was something I noticed in them that they had innately that other industries I've worked in don't, and especially the ones that would win, is that they, the politicians, whatever you may think of them, are supposed to solve some of the biggest problems facing our society, and the ones that did well always had this, like, they didn't maybe put it to words, but they had this like innate belief that they were put on earth and are uniquely qualified, that them and only them can solve these particular problems. So they had to, like, a duty to go out and do this for people. So I've kind of talked about similar things in the past about how you have an obligation to do the things that you can do, and if you need to find a way to portray to someone that you want to do work for in exchange for money or something else, that you are unique. So that's why you need to really nail down why you and only you can help them. So hopefully that makes sense. I went on a bit of a tangent there, but I think it's important to dig into that. Keith says this makes a lot of sense. As SEOs, we want higher ticket clients, so it makes sense that they also want the same. Yeah, I mean, it's more about just being high ticket. It's what they want and what they want to do and who they want to do it for. So everybody keeps going to the high ticket part, and that, I think, is important, but it's also more about the person and less about the number. So hopefully that makes sense. How can you help them? This is probably the part that most people jump right to before doing anything that we've talked about so far today. And it's important, but it's also not as helpful if you don't have the rest of the formula ready. So how can you help them? This is where you kind of tell them what you do, kind of. It's not you don't want to say something like, I'll do SEO and that'll solve this problem for you because now you rank in Google. That's nerdy SEO marketer stuff that Joe average business owner either doesn't understand or doesn't care about or doesn't want to hear about. It's a little too inside baseball for the people that you're going to be targeting. In most cases, there's probably exceptions, but this isn't just like slapping a service on your site and saying that we offer SEO. That's not what this is. You can offer the same thing in a way that appeals to people and is simpler to understand by saying something like, what I'm going to do is place free ads on the internet so that people that need a shower install will see you before they see anyone else. And when I say a free ad on the internet, that's basically what a Google ranking is, right? I mean, it's not free in that it doesn't, so be careful with that, but it's not free in that, you do it for free, but it's not a PPC ad. It's an ad that's listed there organically because of your skills. Excuse me. So that's just like a clever way of breaking it down. Or you can just say, I will place an ad on the internet, and that way you can also, you could be talking about SEO or PPC or even like a Facebook ad type of thing. But you see the difference there? You're kind of saying the same thing, but you're breaking it down into English without so much jargon, and it's in a way that they can understand, and it refers back to the problem that they have that you're trying to solve for them. So, and it conveys what you do as well. So that's how you can help them. Let me catch my breath for a second. Hopefully there's some questions. If not, just let me know how you're enjoying this so far, if it makes sense, if it sucks, anything like that. Just go ahead and drop that in the chat, in the comments, the questions, whatever, and we'll continue in just a second. All right, so we have one more section to go, I think. So let's move on because there doesn't seem to be a lot of questions today. Man, a lot of people dropped off after the giveaway. That's why I do those. Shannon says it does make sense. Keith says enjoying it so far. Great. Might start doing a giveaway at the end too, just to keep people around. What will happen after you help them? So this is probably the most, I don't want to say it's the most important part, but if you don't get this, you're not going to get them, because you have to paint a picture for them of what their life is going to be like after you solve their problem, so you can, with your offer, so that you can increase the odds that they are going to say yes, because that's what we really care about, right? So what will happen after you help them? This will be generic in the offer itself, because if this is just, somebody you meet asks you what you do, you can't be as specific about a particular prospect or client or customer, so you're going to have a generic version of it. And generic's probably not a good term, but you get what I mean. But you're also, once you have a prospect that you're talking to and you've spent some time getting to know them and researching them and learning about their problems and their pain and all that sort of thing, then you're going to have a specific version to that individual as well. So I put a couple examples on the screen there. The generic version is you'll be able to get back to focusing on what you love doing in your business and balancing the time with your desired lifestyle. So you have to put that way. You might be tempted to say with your family and friends and loved ones, but for all you know, this is an introvert that doesn't have any of those things. Or you might be able to say that you can get back to, installing the showers. Maybe they don't actually do this stuff. You know what I mean? So you have to have a version that you can turn into just a sentence. But you also need a specific version of it as well. So you'll be able to stop. This is after you've gotten into talking to this plumber that we've used as an example throughout this presentation. You'll be able to stop worrying about how they're going to pay your bills, or take a day off to make it to your daughter's dance recital. So basically, you're painting a picture for them where they don't have to worry about paying their bills, and they can make it to all these fancy events that spoiled kids get to go to. So, anyway, sorry about that. To any of the parents out there. But you see what I mean? You have two versions of it, because sometimes you're just telling your grandma or your friend or your buddy who you're not actually trying to sell what you do. So you need to have that version, but you also need to have a specific version. So hopefully that makes sense. Moving right along on that. Now we have to take all of those people. Well, again, let me, before I do that, any other questions before we move on to the next step, which is turning the anatomy of an offer into an offer? Keith says it's important to convey SEO in simple terms, as I think as soon as you mention those three letters, it's a big turnoff. Placing free ads, it sounds better. Yeah, I mean, you have to be careful with the word free, but I agree. That's something I came up with on the spot today. But I think it's a clever way to do it. So, all right. So turning the anatomy into an offer. Let's take a look at an example of a template that I'll leave on the screen so you can screenshot and take care of it yourself, and use it yourself to plug in your own variables. But this is what it looks like. It combines everything that we've talked about into one cohesive offer. Who does it help needs, what they need help with, and because should have been in black there. Because, reason they need help. Because of my reason that you can help them, I can, how you can help them, and once I do, thing that will happen after I help them. So that's kind of what the template you can use. If you want to use that, go ahead and take a screenshot of it. I should add that you don't necessarily have to have every single one of those. If it gets too bloated or it doesn't make a lot of sense with what you offer or what you do or what you want to say or how you can convey information, it's okay to remove pieces of that or move around the order. But that's kind of a general template. So I'm going to pause for a second to let everyone either write that down or screenshot that or remember that or do whatever you do to save that. So let me know if you, once I can move on. So let me know that in just a second or so. All right, moving right along. Here is an example. What does a completed offer look like? Plumbers like you need more jobs installing showers because those jobs are more profitable and rewarding than standard calls. I know this because I worked in my father's plumbing business in high school before getting into marketing later on. I can combine my knowledge of both industries to help you place free ads on the internet that will get your business seen first when people are looking for a shower install, so you can stop worrying about marketing and get back to focusing on doing the job, running your business, and being there for your family. So this one uses the specific what your life will be like at the end, but the rest of it just plugs in the things that we've already talked about. This is a bit wordy, so it could probably be condensed down a little bit, but this is kind of a completed offer. You are somebody that, and you can turn that into one of those like bio sentences too if you want to, you know. I help X get more Y by Z so they can, Q. But plumbers like you, so see how we identify who we're talking to, need more jobs installing showers, so what they need. I'm gonna have to remember all the pieces off the top of my head now. Because those jobs are more profitable and rewarding, the reason that they want them. I know this because I worked in my father's plumbing business in high school, and that's why you are uniquely qualified before getting into marketing later on. This is how you can help them. I can combine my knowledge of both industries to help you, and this is how, I already said that. You can place free ads on the internet that will get your business seen first when people are looking for a shower install, and then what their life will look like afterwards. So you can stop worrying about marketing and get back to focusing on doing the job, running your business, and being there for your family. So that is what a completed offer looks like. Again, you could boil that down into I help X get more Y with Z if you need to put that in a bio or something. But this is much better in my opinion. Well, not in my opinion. In fact, this is much better than I do SEO for plumbing businesses. That doesn't sound sexy at all. It doesn't explain what you do at all. It doesn't tell a plumber why they should hire you. It doesn't do anything for anybody other than check off a box on some checklist that you got in a course somewhere that tells you you need to have something like that. So this is a much more comprehensive offer, and this can easily be picked apart and put into services that you can then offer in your business. So that is kind of the end of the presentation. Does anybody want me to recap a little bit, or does anybody have any questions? Let me jump on camera, at least partially. If I don't hear from anybody in a minute or two, I'll quickly recap and then we'll wrap up, but I'm happy to take questions on anything we talked about today, in particular, any topic in general other than how to get orders on legit. Keith says, I like the personal touch of empathizing with the tradesperson that you've been in their shoes previously rather than just another marketing expert. Yeah, and to be clear, if that's not true, don't say that. You know what I mean? Don't lie and say that your dad was a plumber, or, you're not, be like, you don't want to be Dusty Rhodes if you're not Dusty Rhodes. But, come up with something that gives you, that uniquely qualifies you to be the person that helps them, you know what I mean? And yeah, I think that helps. Not only does it help you close the sale, but it helps you make a better offer. It genuinely does make you better at what you do. So, Scott Allen, who's a friend of mine, works specifically, at least he used to work specifically with dentists, and he knew the tiniest little things that they liked and didn't like, and it really made a big difference for them. Somebody says, awesome presentation, taking this to the battlefield. Let's see if I can figure out who that was. That was Giovanni. Thank you, Giovanni. I apologize for the throat clearing. That one wore me out. All right, I'm going to quickly recap everything because I know we covered a lot. And then we'll take it. You can go and drop any more questions that you do. And then we'll call it a day. Danny Unknown says, I help plumbers get more shower installs so you can go back to your family and I can create a nice passive income by helping you. Yeah, if you're doing SEO, you'll know it's not really passive, but yeah. And I know you're just being a little funny there, so anyway. Shannon says, just something that creates connection. Yeah. All right, so today we talked about crafting an offer that sells. The rundown was that we covered what is an offer, we covered the anatomy of an offer, and then turning the anatomy into an offer. What is an offer? An offer is the result you sell to someone that solves a problem that they have in exchange for money or other consideration. The anatomy of the offer contains who it helps, what does the prospect need help with, Who do they need help, or excuse me, why do they need help with that? Why can you help them? Why you can help them? I can. Oh, excuse me, how you can help them. Wow, I had to read that way too many times. What will happen after you help them? Danny Unknown says, thanks for doing this, Chris, by the way. Thank you. And again, full transparency is I want everyone to be successful and have a strong agency that does good work so they can use my platform and other products to make that agency even better. So I want to be fully transparent about why I do these. And I do enjoy doing these. Who does it help? Includes the niche industry or vertical or the specific demographics. There's a couple of examples. What do they need help with is that's not good enough. You need, the example I've been using is plumbers that want a specific type of job rather than just make their phone ring. Why do they need help with that? It's usually that they either don't know how to do it, don't have the money to do it, don't have the time to do it, or don't want to do it. Why can you specifically help them? And it's what your background is in the industry. Maybe you have a demographic with them, and maybe you possess skills that other people don't. Whatever it is, it's why you specifically can help them more than anybody else. Somebody says, hi, Churs, how are you? I'm good. How are you? How can you help them is not just I'll do SEO for them, but I'll place free ads on the internet so that people that need shower installs will see you before they see anyone else. It's basically what you're going to do that can help them. And then finally, what will happen after you help them. And you need to have two versions of this. One that you can just tell to somebody who asks what you do, and then one that is for a specific prospect. And you can look at those two examples there. I don't think you really need me to read them to you. And then finally, we turn that anatomy into an offer. And again, I'll leave that on the screen if anyone wants to screenshot it or write it down or whatever so you can use it yourself. But it's who does it help needs, what they need help with, because reason they need help, because of, and I should have put these into paragraphs, but because of my reason you can help them, I can, how you can help them. And once I do, the thing that will happen after I help them. And these are examples. Plumbers like you need more jobs installing showers because those jobs are more profitable and rewarding than standard calls. I know this because I worked in my father's plumbing business in high school before getting into marketing later on. I can combine my knowledge of both industries to help you place free ads on the internet that will get your business seen first when people are looking for a shower install, so you can stop worrying about marketing and get back to focusing on doing the job, running your business, and being there for your family. So that's it. Any questions on anything, or should we go ahead and call it a day? Let me see if I got anywhere else. I hate when I miss them. I feel bad. Ooh, lots. And I have a picture of Dan Kennedy staring at me. All right. Any other questions, or shall we call it a day? I do have a couple of housekeeping things I want to do. Take me off this list before I report you. Why don't you just go ahead and click the unsubscribe button like a grown-up would instead? That's probably easier to do than be a little baby. I can't even figure out where that person was. That's hilarious. Figure out where that person was. That's hilarious. One second here. Must have been the legit group. That was Ivan Smith in the legit group who take me off this list before I report you. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and show you the door because you've never contributed anything anyway. Local Web Advantage, there's your free plug. It says, is this recorded? Just got here. Yes, wherever you're watching this will be there. I feel like these plumbers, HVAC companies, who, by the way, I want to target, are getting bombarded after Hormozy's book came out. Probably so. And he's got another one coming out in a few days, so who knows what industry that will ruin. That was excellent, Chris. Thank you, John. Wanjiku says, thank you for the presentation. Step-by-step and examples made it easy to understand. Thank you. Somebody's laughing. Is this recorded? Just got here. And he's been in the group since 2021 and has literally never contributed. So I think we're just going to go ahead and show him the door. See you later, Ivan. All right. All right. Thanks a lot for this. Just join. Oh, missed your previous week's session. That's all right. They're all right there on YouTube. All right, guys. That's it. Monday, be on the lookout. We got some big stuff coming up. I will probably do a presentation on it then, but got a whole new version of Legit coming. And yeah, that's it. That's what we got going for you. Thanks for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with me. I appreciate that. And we will see you again soon. Peace.